You know when a police chief really feels his power? When he hires and fires people? When he throws folks in jail? When he's bossing everyone around all morning? No, there's no power there. Just bureaucratic red tape. Like directing traffic. Not that it's all bad. No, I feel it the most when people come to me with accusations. Accusations happen outside the law. They don't need to be rational or supported by evidence. They don't petition justice in the careful words of legal formality. No, an accusation is a personal cry, full of resentment or envy, a defeated moan, or an angry howl. The accuser rarely imagines you'll share their resentment, their envy, their hatred. No, but they do imagine that your love of power is so strong that you'll leap to decide the fates of others, happy just to take someone's word for the facts. Businessmen accuse the gangsters blame our public figures denounce politicians, the politicians point to the businessmen. When it comes to accusation, there's only one rule. Don't aim too high. If you overestimate your own importance, then complaining can cost you your life. So choose the easier path, exaggerate as far as you can, and try to make your plea sound as sad and pathetic as possible. The accusation I received today sure didn't fit the normal mold. After killing Vikas Varga and routing his supporters, Sand further strengthened his already powerful authority. Even a month ago, anyone coming out against Sand would sound like a lunatic with a death wish. Today, it's the same thing as suicide. But the letter I'm holding in my hands directly connects Henry Sand, lieutenant of the Sand Mafia family, to the reported death of successful banker John Pazzi. Henry has a daughter, Marianne, a dancer, and apparently it all started with her. One day, Marianne danced in the title role of a production of Giselle, and Henry, proud father that he is, brought the whole family to the premiere, along with some of the family's business partners. Among their guests was the young banker John Pazzi. He couldn't keep his eyes off Marianne, but she ended up brushing him off. In response, Pazzi ambushed her one night after rehearsal, pulled her into his limousine, and had his way with the poor girl. After that, gentleman that he was, he drove the girl home and threatened that if she told anyone what happened, her mother would get the same treatment. But her father still managed to shake the truth out of Marianne, and he decided to take his revenge. Of course, Henry knew he couldn't just go with his instincts and put a bullet in Pazzi in broad daylight. The rich bastard was too important for business, and Henry is neck-deep in the family business, overseeing transportations for the Sand Mafia. He knew about every delivery delay, every car, and every shop. It was mostly thanks to Henry that the whole Sand operation rolls so smoothly. Henry has free access to all their off-book cars, and a tar-black motive. Yeah, he could easily arrange the death of John Pazzi as a drunken, late-night hit-and-run. But Henry Sand is smarter than that. If this story about Pazzi is true, he'd more likely go to the boss and ask permission. I'd have figured this letter the ramblings of a retired gangster looking to spice up his life with little excitement. The way the letter started, "My dear little old cupcake," I had every mind to toss it in the trash. But something else got my attention. They're rarely ever signed, but this one ended Robespierre, and I doubt it's an imposter. No one would go against the most powerful group in the city, hoping to hide behind the name of some prankster clown. Like everyone else, I had no idea who Robespierre was or what he wanted. But there was no doubt that this guy was more than a little crazy. An arrogant psychopath. Could be dangerous. Definitely worth looking into.
So I guess we'll be looking into the Robespierre, but that makes us the Montard de Lanternac, if I remember that correctly. We have many things going on. Let's immediately jump into the Mafia. We took money. Yeah, we need all the money we can get. Inspection. We are concerned about the low effectiveness ratings of Freeburg's finest. Specially authorized inspectors have been invited to the department. Okay, snitch, you paid your snitch his weekly fee, her weekly fee, by the way. We have a robbery. 3 armed robbers wearing masks enter the bank and demand that the manager to open the safe. We'll get Hunters and Birch, and we don't have our little snitch chap up there. Let's go with Vandal, Samadhi and Hugh Grant and Kane and SWAT. Off they go. We have a hit and run. We need to do some investigation-y bits here. An unidentified vehicle struck and killed the young banker John Patsy, then fled the scene. Let's take a moment here, look at the other investigations we have going on. This is detectives, let's see here, they're all at home so we can't use them. We have this homicide here which has Beasley and Sandstrom working. But what do we have in terms of leads on this? Well, we have all of these things out here. I'm just not entirely sure how to put that into order, which is a recurring issue for me, honestly. Let's try and move all of these down. Try one more time, maybe we can crack this case. So let's see, here they arrive in this. Then presumably they walk out of the building. They walk in, but we don't have any of the right frames available out here. Let's archive this case, archive it, and get everyone working because that's probably the main storyline here. Beasley, he's the best trained one, so he gets to be lead. We'll get Mosler, Wolf, and Sandstrom working beneath. They'll go off and they'll have a look into that. I think it's time to shuffle the roster a bit because we have, well, a lot of officers working here. We got 3 on the bottom row, whereas we have no bottom row and B shift. So I'll have to try and move them around. But where are they stacked over here? They're sort of very well trained. Do we have any slightly lower one? We don't have, well, it kind of jumps from 170 to 290, and then we get quite a heavy weight down at the top. Meanwhile, this is sort of much lower, but average is much higher. We can go with Beard Cell, move him to B shift. What about the detectives? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's going to be unbalanced regardless of what we do. So we'll leave the shifts as they are now. That way they're also split up investigation-wise onto the right cases. All of that is fine. We'll just focus on doing our dispatching for now. And now we have an assault at the trade unions building. A young woman, frightened to death, just called in from the trade union. A drunken factory worker broke into the building. The same man who yesterday visited the union, demanding a return of the money that was withheld from his salary over the past 6 years. The man is shouting and threatening to break through the service window. But we'll need to assign some officers out there. Those 2 can probably deal with it just fine. Our officers arrived at the bank robbery. The bank is located in the city centre where there's a lot of traffic and civilians. We can either sneak up to the front window and peek inside the bank, block the exit to the bank with a police cruiser, or take up comfortable firing position at the main exit. Let's try and sneak up and peek inside. A woman's shouts can be heard inside the bank. Wait until the robbers get out. Storm the building or get onto the PA. Attention, you are surrounded. Waiting until the robbers exit might be safest for everyone involved, although that would just contain the situation to inside the bank, which might actually be the safest thing because we were told there were lots of people about. So I don't really know here. It's either A or B. A or B. Let's storm the place. We have an effective SWAT team. They'll do the job just fine. Yeah, they did the job just fine. Everyone won on that one. Well, apart from the criminals. But that's really the way it should go. We have also started our hit-and-run investigation out here. We pretty much know all about it. The asphalt told us some information out here. Motorcycle tyre tracks and shattered glass were found at the crime scene. The trade union building has been stepped up. Let's get Austin Powers and Bill Bailey out there. We have another call, an armed robbery queued up. We'll wait for officers to return from the bank robbery. We just received an alert from a jewellery store. 6 armed men wearing masks enter the premises, demanding all the cash and jewellery be placed in a large garbage bag. We'll dispatch all available officers to the scene. That's all of those. SWAT and the paddy wagon. Off they go. Oh, come on. The inspection has taken away one of our lead investigators. God, fuck off. So we have an investigation going on. We also have this separate call out now. The situation is more serious than we thought, requesting reinforcements. Assign everyone available. That one just have to deal with it itself. We have a fight at the Sawmill neighbourhood. A call just came in from a girl who went with her friends to have a barbecue out by the sawmill. When the food was almost ready, a group of drunk students suddenly appeared, claiming that this was their spot. A massive fight broke out. I'm sorry, I have no available units. You will have to contact City Hall and complain about our reduction in the budget. Now the City Hall complains that their reception does not have enough protection. The mayor urgently requests that you send more officers. Well, I'm sorry, you took away 2 positions from us, so we don't have anyone available. I'm terribly sorry, but blame yourself for this one, you stupid shits. The armed robbery call cleared. Offender was caught, officers were unharmed, and civilians were unharmed. Hutchison has been taken off duty along with 2 other officers. Due to the investigation thing going on, or the inspection, whatever, they'll probably have to answer some questions. I don't really care in particular. And it was the hit and run case out here where Beasley, he was taken off the case, correct? He was, right? It's not showing him as off the case. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Was it one of these detectives? Was it the Brito? No. I distinctly remember that there was an investigator told off the case as well. Let's have a look then and see what we can find in the backlog. Now we've got black protest, we've got formal complaint filed. No, we don't have anything on that, so we can't actually check up on it. But now we have an armed robbery at the Sophocles Theatre of Drama, the place that we did not send a unit to earlier. 3 armed thugs managed to rob the audience of a playhouse. Before the civilians realised what was happening, the criminals had already fled the scene. Until the last minute, everyone thought it was just a part of the show. The cloakroom attendant says that the robbers left in a yellow school bus. Let's assign Birch, Khan, Hugh Grant and Van Dahl along with a paddy wagon and SWAT. We can use SWAT like 4 times a day, 3 or 4 times a day, and we're pretty much coming to the end, so I doubt we'll actually need them anymore. We have a homicide at a gas station. An eyewitness reported that a man drove up to a gas station, got out and shot the guy behind the counter with an automatic rifle, and now he's just standing there quietly filling up his gas tank. This dude's crazy. We get Austin Powers, Coachy, Bill Bailey, Jane Austen, and some Marty on the case. That's all we have available now. Even late at night, finding the right bus wasn't so difficult. The criminals abandoned it less than a mile from the suburban motel. We can either check the motel, search the woods and search the bus. Let's search the bus first. The motel manager reports to us. 3 men threatened me with a gun when I said we had no more rooms. I put them in a room we already rented, but they won't be too happy when our guests return. Knock on the door, open police, order all civilians to return to their rooms and lock their doors, then begin the assault. Try to trick the gunman. Who's in there? You're in our room. Let's try and do that. Yeah, that worked. Surprisingly, knock knock, it's a pizza guy. Suddenly works again. Wonderful. The hit and run case has yielded 3 new frames, but I believe we were told that it was a motorbike that was involved. Let's read the fine print here. Ross Murphy, victim's limo driver. Mr. Passy sometimes liked to walk the city at night. I had just taken him out after a long business dinner. We pulled up to the park near the monument and I didn't notice anything suspicious, although there was a grey truck that didn't have any license plates. It followed us into the park from the restaurant, but it returned off somewhere. Our medical examiner told us that Mr. Passy died immediately on impact. A heavy vehicle struck him at high speed. The bruises on his body showed traces of a grille, so you might be looking for a jeep or a truck. Soft tissue contained fragments of a windshield, so it appears that the blow was strong enough to throw his body into the air and through the windshield. The victim's clothes showed traces of grey paint. That's not really grey, not really. Let's check out Mr. Blasikowski here. Ivan Blasikowski told us, I run in the park at night. Tonight I heard the roar of a motorcycle, so I went to check it out. I figured it was bikers who like to race on empty roads, but when I ran closer I saw the road was empty. Then I saw the body, so I called the police. And now the asphalt told us that motorcycle tracks and shattered glass were found at the crime scene. So we're getting contradictory information here. Surveillance camera. At a nearby intersection, a surveillance camera recorded a group of bikers, and behind them you can make out a grey jeep with a cracked windshield. Okay, so both actually is fine. There's no contradiction here, the surveillance camera cleared that up. But we don't have anything to go on yet. We now have reports from the homicide. The offender was caught, officers were unharmed. We found some automatic weapons which we need to sell in order to earn money. But we're going to have to be careful now about not pissing off the mafia with our investigation unless we have our backs covered in that regard. Yeah, I was right. Beasley has been taken off the case. He's unavailable now. So we are an investigator short there. Meanwhile, over here we have not really a strong investigation team, but over here we have 3 investigators working. So we'll have to move. We can't actually ask them to move, so we have to do that later. Got it.
Oh, Jack, you always come back so late.
What's wrong? Bad news?
Good news, Jack. Laura is ready.
Ready how? She's coming back? When?
Not that fast, Jack. Laura's ready to talk. But if she's ready to talk, she's getting ready to come back. You just need to find the right words. You can find the right words, right, Jack?
I'm not an idiot.
I didn't ask for this, Jack. It's the middle of the night, and I'm alone on an old farm, 40 minutes away from anywhere, sat on a creaky porch, and now I'm getting snapped at. I came here so you could personally promise me that you'll be able to find the right words. So let's try again. You can find the right words, right, Jack?
I can find the right words, Mrs. Markham.
That's good to hear. Tomorrow night at 3 o'clock at the Octopus Restaurant. You know it?
Yeah, but it's closed at night.
Oh, I've arranged for them to be open. Don't be late. But don't come too early either.
Mrs. Markham?
Yeah?
I should probably offer you some tea or something before you go.
Do you have any tea?
No.
Good night, Jack.
Well, it's good to know that we didn't die. I fully expected that to be the end, but it's actually more progress towards the end. So it's not the beginning of the end, but we're getting near the end. We're on day 30 now. And it's not looking good for our investigations, but at least we can request more help from City Hall. Hopefully they will give us something. We are quite screwed with our investigations. The hit and run case out here, everyone is at home. Beasley will be out for a couple of days. I don't know about Marlowe. He seems to be... Oh, yeah, he got food poisoning, didn't he? Well, it's kind of annoying. What can we do with rosters? Let's have a look at a roster first. Can we fire Marlowe for being sick? Let's see here. No, we can't. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? Who else can we fire anyone else? Anthony Turner we could fire. Do we have anyone available that can actually take a job and be good at it? Well, not really. We've got the fat Peter Viggers, but not really. No, we'll have to leave that. What about, do we have any other slots available? No, we have 19. Alright then, let's go ahead and deal with a fight in progress. Retiree Manny Verge called in to report a fight between a little girl's father and a dog lover whose Rottweiler had frightened the child. While the men were busy settling the matters, the dog was spotted running towards the amusement park. Well, that could end deadly. Let's get Brian Best or whatever and Jeremy Clarkson on the case. The fight is code 4, offender called, officers unharmed, and now we have an unlawful assembly at City Hall. It seems City Hall is the unhappy target of a spontaneous demonstration. Some 20 people have gathered in protest against the increased garbage tax. The protesters are behaving peacefully but are demanding to speak with city officials. Well, if they're being peaceful, right? They won't need anything, so we can send Cecil and Tony Robbins and the paddy wagon over there just to look intimidating. The peaceful will send 2 officers and a van. That is the least intimidating the whole thing can get, I imagine. We now have a robbery at the city centre. Tiffany Lee, while visiting the local mall, encountered a hooded man who grabbed her expensive bag and bolted. She immediately called the police. Isn't the mall safe anymore? The man must still be in the building. Let's hurry. Let's get George Best and Massa Jeremy Clarkson there. And Purdy. Off they go. The unlawful assembly call was completed. Offenders were caught. Officers were unharmed. I don't know who was offending because it was a lawful assembly and there was no crimes being committed. But I won't argue with that. I weren't on the scene. I'll let my officers do that. They can always complain and they have 50% of my income deducted. But we have a situation with the robbery. The offender attempted to escape the mall, but guards blocked the door. He turned and fled back inside looking for another way out. Run after him, order the man to halt. Well, he's not going to listen this easy, let's run after him. The offender ran into the ice skating rink, then slipped and fell on the ice. As he struggled to regain his footing, he pulled a knife from his pocket. Use pepper spray on him, take aim at the man and try to seize the knife. Well, let's take aim. Yeah, that worked. I mean, he's got a knife, that's lethal force. That's a 30-foot rule and all that, so really getting the gun out is the safest choice for everyone. So that worked out fine. We have counterfeiting at Desire Park. That is apparently an officer call, not a detective call, but fine. A woman put up a tent in the park and is inviting everyone to come buy a new highly profitable currency which will rise 10 times in value over the coming weeks. This isn't Bitcoin, right? A long line has already formed and people are starting to push and curse each other. Yeah, we might want to get just a couple of officers at least down there, because that could end up in a bit of a scuffle and that's bad for public safety. So the counterfeiting call is more serious than initially thought. They're requesting all the assistance they can get, so they will get everyone available and we will have to leave any other calls aside. At least our little gang issue has been dealt with, so we won't get any requests from Sand anymore. We now have a theft at the bus stop. Frank Conroy's wallet was stolen at the bus stop. He quickly noticed the loss and he's hunting for the pickpocket with his friends. The group is blaming everyone in sight and the situation is quickly escalating. The matter may soon come to blows. Well, I'm terribly sorry, but City Hall reduced our funding, so we had to let 2 officers go, so we do not have anyone available to deal with your call. Although if you can hang on a bit, we may have 2 officers available now. Thank you for your patience. We now have officers available. We'll dispatch George Best and Jeremy Clarkson. The counterfeiting report came in. Offender was caught. Officers were unharmed. Somehow we found money and we asked the mafia to sell it. Let's sell the money then. Let's do that. Now we have a disorderly conduct at the St. John's Hospital. A man came into the hospital with a very large dog. The dog was on a leash and wearing its muzzle, but it was growling and jumping on the other patients. The duty nurse warned the man that it was against hospital policy to bring animals into the building, but the man just snarled at her and refused to listen. We can only send a single officer. Let's get Degar over there. We have another mass riot at the Corn Monument out here. Approximately 100 people have gathered in the park to protest the construction of a new casino near the cemetery. Soon after, a group of pickup trucks pulled up and several strongmen climbed out. Without saying a word, they began to fight with the demonstrators. Let's hold off with that. We have quite a while so we can have officers return from calls that they are attending. I basically want to get everyone on it as possible. So we have George Best and Clarkson are returning back out here. They got a bit of a boost. Disorderly conduct, the guy, he caught the offender, very good. Let's try and wait and see. Here we got 30 seconds. They will definitely get back. I'm not sure about Degar. He probably won't. But we also have to try and be careful now. We have an assault live goat mini market parking lot, I would imagine that says. So everyone is going to the mass riot, which is, I imagine, quite correct. Now this is where this actually gets good, is when you end up with these situations where you actually have to prioritise and basically have to think and try and work with the whole situation. Anyway, we have a fight is in full swing and some other combatants are carrying weapons. Shoot into the end in an effort to pacify the ground. Since when did that ever work out well? Enter the fight and attempt to detain the hooligans. Surround the park and order everyone to calm down. It does seem like dangerous to enter the fight because you'd just be getting in there and you'd just be inviting them basically to stabby shoot you. So we can surround the order to calm down, which worked out good for us because we have a very effective SWAT team and very effective coppers. So close it down. We have update on the assault, they escaped, and the homicide have 3 new frames. This might actually be workable, I think. Let's have a look here. Yeah, we're going to have to leave it. Now, I don't know how long these are supposed to take, so I don't really have a frame of reference for how quick they're supposed to be solved. So I'll just have to leave them until I actually feel like I have the full picture, which I don't feel like I have yet. Or maybe I'm just not interpreting it correctly.
According to Mrs. Markham, I was supposed to spend all day thinking up the right words. But to my surprise, I did my best work when I shut my head off. I didn't even want to think why Laura decided we'd meet at 3 o'clock in the morning, and in a restaurant we'd never gone to. I didn't know what to tell her, and something tells me she's no more ready for this meeting than I am. By nightfall, I finally stopped worrying. The right words would come when they were needed. And if they don't come at all, then so be it. I've heard said, when you're knocked out by a single blow, you don't have time to feel any pain. Well, that's a lie. It's painful as hell. Every day I spent in that coma, the pain was unbearable.
While corruptionist, is that what it says? I think it is. So we can either choose game A, game B, or game C. I don't know what's going on here. Let's go with game B. It's in the middle. Okay, this is weird. This is legitimately weird. What? I don't know what I was supposed to do, though. I didn't feel like it explained anything to me.
Yeah, I heard about that already. But what if they decide to spill it to the papers? We need to start thinking now about covering our asses. I know people who can deal with this, but they'll need at least a week. Plus, if we want to...
Lieutenant Stat, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have Jack Boyd on the line.
Who?
Jack Boyd, sir. He's calling from the hospital.
Gibson, I'll call you back. Don't do anything without my team. Jack, well, wow. I didn't know you were awake. Doctor said you could be in that coma for months, even years. How are you feeling?
Tell me who's in control, Martin.
I don't think I follow you.
For God's sake, Martin, tell me it's you running the department and not some stooge from the mayor's office.
Yes, Jack. I am performing the duties of the police chief, but the new man's coming on Saturday, Kevin Paulson.
Kevin Paulson?
Yes, it's the guy from the...
I know who Kevin Paulson is. Now listen carefully, Martin. I'm coming back to work. I'm Freeburg's police chief, and it's going to stay that way for another 4 months. Now you get on the phone and do whatever needs to be done. You run into any problems, threaten them with the media, court, or blackmail. But I don't think they'll give you any trouble. The mayor knows it's easier to just wait until the winter than deal with a scandal. Oh, and assemble a press conference.
Listen, Jack, I know the truth is on your side, but you have to take into account...
Martin, how long since you transferred to my department?
Coming up on 5 years now.
How many times in the last 5 years have you come to my birthday party? How many times have you come to the farm when I had the boys over?
Never had the pleasure, but...
Never. Because you couldn't care less. And I don't care for you either, Stat. It wasn't me who appointed you deputy, and you wouldn't have been my first choice. But if you do ever come over to my house, you won't miss the big hole in my backyard. Garbage pit. You know, for old rubbish. A smelly hole filled with rotten furniture and other crap. So, Stat, if I even for a moment doubt your devotion, you'll go straight into that pile of trash. Maybe you'll get to catch up with some old friends. You remember Kendrick, don't you?
I'll schedule the press conference for tomorrow, all right, Jack?
The day after tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going shopping.
Well, this game has taken a different turn than I expected. Okay, I bought a Ferrari Testarossa apparently. Don't know when I did that, but fine. We have new clothes. Okay. I have a new hairstyle. Oh yeah, that's cool. I'm a true warrior. Yeah, definitely I am. One last detail is missing. Fashionable sunglasses. They'll give a final touch to your new image. The image of a peerless tiger. How can I help you? Thank you. I'll get what I need myself. I'm used to making decisions without any assistance. I know exactly what I want. Yeah, I'll want the yellow ones. Oh, they're expensive. Oh, they're just the same. I'll stop at nothing. That makes it clear that a lot depends on the decisions you make. These classes bring out your hidden sexuality. No, we're not gay this time round, so let's try and leave that. Yeah, let's go for the yellow ones. They look yellow. You now have fashionable sunglasses. May they transform not only your appearance, but how you feel. Piss off, saleswoman.
No, that would be too much.
Wow, Jack, what's with the outfit? You planning on...
The pit in the backyard, Martin. Always remember about the pit in the backyard.
Don't talk to anyone before the press conference starts. I'll try to get you on stage quickly. Kevin Paulson is here. He wanted to...
Jack! I hardly recognize you. That's quite an image for a man like you. An old dog with a new trick, right? We should see each other more often. How long has it been?
Last time I saw you, I fired you, Kevin.
Ha! You mean the day I resigned in protest over the corruption and lawlessness at your police department, right?
Yeah, repeat that shit often enough, someday you might start believing it.
You know, Jack, I'm glad that everything turned out so well. Unlike you, I've made good use of the past 7 years. My new construction company keeps getting jobs from the city, and we're doing really well. I have a new house, new hobbies, even a new wife. Maybe you've met her. Shelley Rogers.
Oh, Shelley Rogers. So you really are in bed with the mayor.
It's a dream come true. All my dreams have come true. Only one thing remains. To bring order to the Freeburg Police Department.
You being serious, Kevin?
I'm serious as ever, Jack. I'm the most serious man you know.
It's not often you see the past and the future Freeburg police chiefs at the same press conference. I hope you have time to talk, Kevin. There's something we need to discuss. Jack, the reporters are waiting for you.
My retirement plan somehow just got turned into a circus. Fortunately, I'm pretty good at swallowing swords and jumping through burning hoops. They all seem to like it.
Oh, we're back here. Lovely. Good morning. Mr. Boyd, is that a new hairstyle? Yes. Do you know the person who attacked you? No, hard to say. I just need time. No, I don't. I didn't recognize him. City Hall has yet to give a definitive answer as to whether you'll be returning to your post. Do you believe Rogers will decide in your favour? Of course. I'm Freeburg's chief of police, whether he likes it or not. Do you think what happened to you somehow affect you? We'll see. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Any more questions? No? Okay, fine. Jack Boyd recovers from head injury. Jack Boyd's unable to name attackers. Chief awakens from coma. Let's go to work. Oh, yeah, now we got a new engine, definitely. Oh, Christ.